put your hands together right now for George Simmons!
One-night stands are tough, and I'm not great at sex, so at the end of every time I gotta go, and normally I do better than that. Girlfriends are so much better. You finish up and you're just like, well, you know, that's how I do it.
You've managed to push the envelope of mainstream comedy like nobody has done for decades. Are there any taboos?
I don't think so. It really just, it's all about like where your heart is. If you have something to say and it's something positive in some way, I think you could do anything. And you could show people have terrible behavior as long as there's a purpose to it. There's some higher purpose to what you're actually trying to say. Every once in a while someone will say like, oh, guys are sexist in the movie or this or that. And I always think, yeah, that's the point, is like it's an immature person trying to figure out how to be a normal, healthy person. Mm-hmm. And so you have to show mistakes because there's nothing interesting about people who have their shit together. Who wants to watch that?
Hello. Sir. Get a little titty in there.
There's a statement you made which I adore. America fears the penis.
That is true.
And you seem to be actively chipping away at the stigma of the cock.
Yes.
Are you winning that war?
I know that I'm winning that war. I think that people are already bored of the penis. I have put it on screen so many times. Oh, I'll give you an example. The end of The Hangover ends with Zach's penis on an elderly woman's mouth. I don't think that he could have got away with that a few years ago. I say I laid down the pipe for that pipe.
Your immune system is in the middle of a very serious battle.
Did anybody ever tell you you have a very scary accent? Are you mad that you died at the end of Die Hard?
But Funny People is also, to my mind, a little bit of a turning point in sorts for your filmmaking. There was that social inadequacy of the 40-year-old virgin. There was the life and living against what other people think is the right type of lifestyles and Knocked Up. And this is death and redemption.
I worked on this TV show, The Larry Sanders Show, which Gary Shandling made, and basically all the stories were stories about problems in the office and all sorts of high-stakes things. So whenever I was worried about the tone of the movie, I just thought, just think it's an episode of The Larry Sanders Show where you followed one of the comics home. And that always made me feel better about it.
When my grandfather died, there was one candle next to his bed that started flickering. We all thought it was him going to heaven.
You don't pass through fire to get to heaven. I think he went to hell.
What'd you just say?
I like the tip of the hat in the film where you have posters around the back of the guy's place.
When you're young and you don't know anything about how to decorate, you usually hang up posters. But if you're rich, you might hang up photographs. And so they hung up photographs of all of these famous comics that they love. And so it was a search. But then the main one is Rodney Dangerfield with Red Fox. Yep. And it's a great picture of them like drunk in Vegas. I mean, you can't even imagine what that night must be like. Yeah. And then we have Monty Python and Chris Rock and Shandling and Belushi and Cosby, of course Cosby, who was one of the first people to give Adam a break and put him on The Cosby Show.
I can't believe this is actually going to happen. Roxanne flipped when she heard about the chopper. 3 weeks ago, the girl went in and talked to me. Today, she was waiting at my locker.
We're a long way from the 70s. There's not a lot of personal films being made. There's not a lot of movies being made by people who really desperately care about what they're saying. There's a lot of product. There's a lot of people going through their old games from when they were kids. How do I turn this game into a movie? How do I turn this toy into a movie? And that's great. And if I was a kid, I'd go to all of them. But the other movies that I loved as a kid, like Being There and Harold and Maude, who's making those movies? I mean, there's a few people, but for me, it's like, wow, this is an opportunity to really go for something while I have the leverage to do it.
Are you gonna tell George he's acting like a lunatic?
Have you considered Eastern medicine?
I don't know if this is Eastern medicine, but I've been eating a lot of rhino cock.
The last time, stop calling me Rhino.